We're here with Vicki Pozzebon. Hi, Vicki.
Hi.
So thanks so much for hosting us here in Santa Fe
Yeah.
and agreeing to participate in this project. As you know, I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you can either answer or not answer them in any way that you like.
How I complete the fifth?
Yes,
Awesome.
absolutely. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So we take polite society in the beginning and throw it out the window. How old are you?
36 next month.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday. Next
Wait,
month is...
oh my gosh, in 2 weeks.
Is next month June? Are you a Cancer?
June, I'm a Gemini.
Oh, okay. So you're
That
almost
says
the
a
cool.
lot.
You're almost the coolest sign in the book.
Okay.
Guess you know what my birthday is. And let's see, political orientation. Do you have one of those?
Well, that's an interesting question. I've been called a socialist, but I'm pretty, I would say, very, very, very liberal. I'm a Canadian. I grew up in northern Ontario and Toronto and lived in Canada till I was 22 years old. So I have a very socialist background.
Cool. And how about religion? Do you have a religion or religious affiliation?
I was born and raised Catholic.
And your job title or titles here in Santa Fe?
And titles. General rabble-rouser, definitely. Community organizer, and I'm the executive director of the Santa Fe Allinace. That's my full-time job.
Great. And you guys have how many members?
About 600.
600 members, great. All local independent businesses?
Local independent businesses, nonprofits.
Great. And how do you see your role in this community?
I see my role as a lot of community organizing is primarily what I do. It's a lot of education and outreach. I see myself as a connector, a network weaver. We're very good as an organization at convening groups of people and working on issues in the community by getting all those people in the right people in the room together to talk about things. We're a real kind of meeting town, so it's sort of the process of coming from a very deep-seated Pueblo culture and Hispanic culture too. So we like to meet and talk about stuff, and that's how we get a lot done with our partners in this community. So I see myself in that role, but especially the Santa Fe Alliance as that connector role.
Great. How about your relationship? Talk about your relationship with the local independent community here in Santa Fe.
It's very strong. We started in 2002 with our work as a buy local campaign, and now we've moved into green jobs programs and sustainable community stuff, neighborhood ordinances, all those types of things, and food renewable energy projects for northern New Mexico. So localizing the economy for northern New Mexico and what that means for Santa Fe as the urban hub and center of all of that. So we're well connected to the independent community here. We have almost a dozen independently owned banks in our network. We have food suppliers, purveyors, restaurants. We have a huge food economy in New Mexico, especially in Santa Fe, with rock star chefs, celebrity chefs, locally owned independent businesses and restaurants rather. So we're connected to all those different groups of people. The tourism industry is really strong here still, even though we're in a downturn in the economy. So we're able to hook into all those different sectors.
Great. Next one's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So you've heard it a couple times there, which means you've had time to prepare. But if your local independent community were an animal, what animal would it be and why?
Well, I actually see it as an octopus because it has really long arms that really reach into the community and wrap around in various projects, various neighborhoods, sectors, population, demographics, and it's sort of it's like the mama octopus that's very gentle in doing so.
Great, great. You had a minute to think about that, huh?
No, well, kind of, but not really. It was. I've often heard of it referred to as a roots system as well, but I like the living, breathing octopus.
So can you talk about a time when a local independent business had to close up shop in Santa Fe and business of some import maybe, and how that affected the community?
Well, I think we had a number of local independent businesses that closed because of our living wage ordinance. One of the the community restaurants that closed. It was called Cloud Cliff. And there were a number of reasons for him to make that decision to close, but I think the loss to the community was pretty significant because it was such a it was a community meeting space, and they had great local food, organic food, vegan, all sorts of different things on the menu, and it was an art space as well, and it was in an interesting neighborhood on the 2nd Street Triangle District, which is sort of a bohemian kind of warehousing kind of area. That was a big loss to the community, and there were various reasons for him to close, but that was sort of like the meeting center that our local, that particular neighborhood misses, definitely. And it's my neighborhood too.
Oh.
My home is in that area, so I feel it.
So how long ago was that?
It's been over a year. And he still is actually cooking. He makes bread, and he sells a lot of his products to the local restaurants and at the farmers market. So he's still doing that side of the business.
And what about sort of the void? What's filled it, if anything?
I think a few things have popped up in the community. You heard this morning from one of our city employees that we had a cafe that opened in a neighborhood called the Tune Up Cafe, and they've done a really good job of really planting themselves in that community and really digging in deep into that community, and it's jam-packed all the time. It's not a huge space, but they're very much about community and neighborhood, so that's been really exciting. We had a number of local restaurants who opened over the winter, which was amazing to me. I saw these signs popping up, and I thought, wow, this is amazing that in this economy that local restaurants are taking that risk. So I'm excited about that because I think the food economy is so important here. So we'll see what happens. But I think the void, we have a number of other cafes that people seem to gather around. So
Great.
We tend to find our own home eventually.
Sure. It's funny how cafes, bookstores, restaurants, and music stores are the hub and connectors in many ways.
Yeah, actually we have a local bookstore that is moving as we speak into a much larger space, a block away from where they are now. They've been here for over 20 years in the community, mother and daughter own, just an amazing bookstore, and they're moving into this great space where they can now have a cafe and internet and a gathering space and a patio, so it's going to become a whole new social center, I think, for the downtown area.